When I was first getting into the guitar, I remember watching Jimi Hendrix live at Woodstock. And what I really noticed was that he was using his thumb an awful lot. His thumb would be playing, say, like the first fret, and then he'd be doing licks like several frets higher. And I remember thinking, God, why don't I start using my thumb? If he's doing it, maybe it could work for me. So I did. I started playing with my thumb wrapped around the back and playing bass notes. And I've took to it really well. I found it quite comfortable quite quickly, and it was really useful to me. And then a few years later, I went to music college, and I remember I was speaking to the guitar teacher there, and he asked me to play a bar chord, and I just naturally played my bar chords like this. And he said, don't play your bar chords like that. Don't use your thumb. Instead of doing that, make sure you play your bar chords like this. And I thought, well, if Hendrix uses his thumb, why can't I use my thumb? And I think about that moment because I didn't take his advice. I didn't start playing my bar chords like this. I mean, sometimes I play my bar chords like this, but most of the time I use my thumb. And I didn't take his advice. And looking back, I'm so glad that I didn't and that I just kept using my thumb, because honestly, for me, it's been one of the most useful things that I've ever done on the guitar, and it's allowed me to play so many more things. And I know it's slightly controversial, but for me it just always made sense. And the reason is 5 is better than 4. I can play a lot more with 5 fingers than I can with 4 fingers. So to me it just always made sense. But not everyone agrees, and I do believe that you have to kind of work out what is best for you, because we're all individual. And I know that in the classical world it's really rarely done, if at all, and I guess that's because the necks are so wide. I don't know. I know very little, next to nothing, about classical music or classical guitar. But in the blues and rock world, some people do it, some people don't. Blues players, I think, tend to do it a little bit more than rock players, but certainly rock players do it as well. And everybody thinks that their way is the best way to do it. And as I said, I think you've got to decide for yourself. Having said that, when it comes to fingerstyle guitar, I firmly believe that it helps so much, because just think about how much stuff is going on. Often we'll be holding down the bass note, doing different things with the bass notes, we'll be picking the strings in between, and really importantly, there's often a melody going on top. So having that thumb taking care of the bass notes on the 6th string, not all the time, of course, but whenever it's necessary, it's just so useful. It will really help you play those melody notes. You can usually get around it, not using your thumb, but it just makes life harder, makes things less economical, and it's just a bit more restrictive, in my opinion. So as I say, yeah, if you're serious about finger picking, I would really recommend learning how to get your thumb over the back. And I know I can hear you saying, but I can't do that, I can't do that. And I'm here to tell you that you absolutely can. And right now I'm going to show you how. So the first thing that people will say is that their hands are just too small. And I just don't buy that one at all, because think about it. There's kids out there that are just 4, 5 years old, and you see them comfortably playing with their thumb around the back of the neck and fretting the notes. And they're not giants. They're not like 6 foot tall 4-year-olds. They're normal height little kids. What's the difference? Well, they're probably playing guitars that are much smaller for them, and they have nice slim necks. I've always played guitars, it's just my preference, that have slim necks. I much prefer it. It just feels better for me. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I took to it quite well. So if you've got small hands and you're really struggling to get your thumb over the back of the neck to play the notes, maybe your guitar just doesn't fit you as well as it possibly could. And you're going to just have to be honest with yourself here and decide whether your guitar truly fits you or not. So that's the first thing. Your hands aren't too small. There's nothing wrong with you. Just be honest about whether or not your guitar truly fits you properly. The second reason why you might be saying that you just can't do it is because you could have been playing with your thumb at the back of the neck since day one. Since you learned your very first chords, instead of playing them like this with your thumb up there, you might have learnt them like this. And everything you play, your thumb has always been behind the neck. And if that's the case, then you just have to change your technique. And that's the really hard thing to do. Once you've been doing something for such a long time, a number of years, even a number of decades sometimes, it really is a great challenge to break that habit or just change the way you play. It's incredibly hard, but you absolutely can do it. Of course you can. You just have to be strict and disciplined and put in the time if you really want to get it down. So I think a good place to start for this is just going back to the first chords that we ever learned, all of our open chords, right? And let's talk about hand placement. So instead of playing them with your thumb at the back of the neck like this, you want to place your hand differently on the neck. So think about when you shake someone's hand, okay? Your hand is like this, right? If you take that exact same shape and just slot the neck into it like that, right into this bit of your hand right here, it's perfect, absolutely perfect for it. Okay, and look where my thumb is. It's hanging around right over here, right over the first fret in this case. And from there, just start playing all of your chords with your thumb in that position. Okay, and basically that's kind of it. I think that's so great because, as I say, it's always there ready to be deployed. And you can use it, of course, for muting all of the lower strings, which is, in my opinion, exactly what you want to be able to do. So if you do play your chords like this, try them like this. I personally think it's much better. You've got a lot of strength in your grip to squeeze those notes on without putting too much strain and pressure on your thumb. You're not going to do yourself any damage whatsoever. And then your thumb is ready to be used. It's the first starting point. And of course, I hear a lot of people saying they can't play F with the thumb around the back. So if you're practicing, if you can play C like this, see where my thumb is? Muting that low E string, then all you got to do is go to F and then just press down on that note right there. That's all you got to do. Just get used to that. That's where I started, and it just grew from there. So baby steps. And so if you stick with this, what you'll probably notice over time is that you'll be able to play things that you couldn't once play because you've got a whole other finger taking care of a lot of the bass notes. As I say, 5 is better than 4. That's just my opinion, but I firmly believe that. You'll be able to cover more surface area, you'll feel less restricted, and you'll just be able to play with more ease. So absolutely give it a go, see how you get on. Hope you've enjoyed. If you did, like, share, subscribe. Head over to sixstringfingerpicking.com, try out some of my courses. I've got a whole load of them, of course, all on fingerpicking for all levels. You can try any of them out completely for free. Also on the site, there's hundreds of song lessons and all kinds of great stuff that will take your fingerpicking to the next level. So check it out. But for right now, that's it. Thanks so much. I will see you again.